everybody's seen the clip or everybody's seen the quote from Fran Brown, and we're going to play it for you. The quote from Fran Brown is, if you're going to make $2 million a wide receiver, that's the homie at Ohio State. Okay. We're going to play you that quote in a second. But I would like to add some context to this, because if you watch the context in that interview, which is the show is called Q Sports Talk. And so it's a whole interview with Fran Brown. It's like 22 minutes long. And they talk about Trebor Pena quite a bit. Trebor Pena is their leading returning receiver. He's entering the portal. I don't know about you, Pete, but I got the sense from hearing what Fran Brown said that he wasn't asking for $2 million, that this was more of a offense post-com accord issue.
Yeah, I didn't get the sense from that quote that Trebor Pena exactly asked for $2 million. I think he was just more so, saying that things are changing and he's not going to pay $2 million. But I didn't think that quote specifically was that Pena was asking for $2 million.
Yeah, I mean,
but it was still hilarious. And we're going to play it anyway because Fran Brown is the best. He is a quote machine. Here is Fran Brown talking about people not understanding their value.
Coach, you mentioned it earlier, but, I think a part of the fan base is worried about you are comfortable where Syracuse is with NIL and that didn't play into it?
No. We was going to come out. It didn't play into it at all, but like sometimes people be asking for an outrageous number, like, right? You're not about to make more than every coordinator and all. Like, man, stop. With all due respect to everybody in the country, to every wide receiver, to everybody that's doing all this stuff, like, if you want to make $2 million at wide receiver, that's to blow a homie over at Ohio State. Ain't nobody else making that money. Giving a wide receiver no $2 million, man, in college. Nah, that ain't me. I ain't doing that. I can't do it. Unless they tell me that we get a chance to have Travis Hunter, he could come back to college and he could come here and play for us, then he gonna get some of my check. But I ain't paying nobody $2,000 this year. Not to me. $2 million, whatever. I just say, yeah, we ain't giving nobody that.
I love that he's like, I'm not paying anybody $2 million. Well, unless it's Travis Hunter. Yes, I definitely pay him $2 million.
But so I talked to Fran Brown on the phone like 3 weeks ago, and I was like, do you want to comment more on the Colorado spring game situation? He's like, nah, man, that's on me. I'm not in that position yet. I'm like, all right, cool.
Fran Brown, we need to have on the show. I did an interview with him when he took the job at Syracuse, and the phone call got a little contentious in like a positive way. Like we weren't fighting, but like I was pushing back on like, he was like, yeah, well, Syracuse is going to go after Georgia players. I'm like, all right, dude, like, are you really going to go after players that are being recruited by Georgia? And he like was offended by the notion that Syracuse couldn't do it. And then at the end of the call, he goes, I appreciate you having, the onions to look me in the eye and say that, but we're going to prove you wrong. And like, I really do love that guy. Like, I feel like
it's awesome. They had a great first year. Now the ACC screwed them with the schedule this year. They had to play the four toughest teams in the league on the road, and they also play Notre Dame. But and they started Tennessee because everything always comes back to Tennessee. But what is the market for Trebor Pena, by the way, who is a 900-yard last year slot receiver?
Yeah, he's got a really strong market. He heard from about like 25 to 30 schools in the last 48 hours since he made the decision to go in the portal. The one big school to watch, though, at this point is Miami.
There you go. Miami, which they had Nye Carr hit the portal yesterday, who was a big-time recruit who's now looking elsewhere. So a lot of names shuffling around. Pete, we're going to let you get back to work because I know you have lots of agents calling you, lots of folks to talk to. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. See you guys.
Because you're wearing a lovely Rowback polo today. I am wearing the Rowback Performance hoodie.
Not Ari.
Most comfortable clothing on earth. The Performance hoodie is the most versatile garment I've ever owned. Like I said, if you're going to buy one, buy at least two because somebody in your house is going to steal one. But hoodies, polos, quarter zips, shorts, joggers. The new joggers are awesome, by the way. You can never tell if I'm wearing pants on this show, but occasionally it's the Rowback joggers, and they are buttery soft. They're amazing. So if you want to order at rowback.com, that's RHOBACK.com. Use the code Andy for 20% off your first order. That's rowback.com, code Andy for 20% off your first order. talking about Fran Brown. Why send your kid to a school that will publicly denigrate your kid for trying to negotiate in private? That's not good business. Fran Brown was not talking about Trebor Pena when he said $2 million. I don't know how to make that more clear.
Yeah. The way that the quote has been presented makes it seem like he was, though. So, like he said NIL didn't come into play and then went on the diatribe. I don't know what the actual reason but like the way that they were talking about it. I see why people are making that.
Yeah. Earlier in the interview, he talks about, hey, it wasn't necessarily a money thing with Trebor. He's looking for something. It would have been his 6th year, by the way. And he said, Fran Brown said, hey, we would have been lucky to have him another year. But also, he's trying to get himself set up for the NFL. Obviously, things are different there this year because Kyle McCord isn't there anymore. So you're breaking in a new quarterback, and it's a different situation. So that may be more to it than the money piece of it. But Fran Brown also said, apparently the other Syracuse players knew what Trebor Pena was scheduled to make because they're like, hey, we heard you had some money freed up. How about you spread that wealth around?
I just was thinking about Nico going to Syracuse, Trebor coming back, and them just rocking it. But
well, I think you know right now that there is no chance that Nico would go to Syracuse, because can you imagine Team Nico in a negotiation with Fran Brown? We would like $4 million. No. We would like $3 million. No. We would like $2 million. No.
Yeah, and then he would just start comparing you to people who are reportedly making that much money. Like it's like I want $4 million. Well, no, well that was the homie Caleb Williams. You know,
exactly.
I like how he called Jeremiah Smith the homie at Ohio State. That made me laugh.
Yeah, because Jeremiah Smith probably making more than $2 million and worth every penny. But
I do want to ask you though, Andy. You would agree, or at least it's my opinion, that the value of a number one, going to get open every play, game-changing receiver has become more important or more valuable in the recent years. I don't know if you agree with that.
Agreed.
But I think that the teams that have those players, a receiver can win you a football game.
Yes.
I know Jeremiah Smith is an alien. I don't want to use him as a baseline. But do you think that a receiver, in theory, could be worth $1 million or $1.5 million?
Sure. Yes.
And how many of those?
All the Alabama fans got mad at me the other day when we were talking about what was going on at Florida and what they hope for Dallas Wilson, their freshman receiver. Because I said, I don't want to compare anybody to Jeremiah Smith because that's not fair because he's an alien. And I said, but the Florida people would be thrilled if Dallas Wilson winds up being like Ryan Williams last year. And the Alabama fans seem to think that was an insult to Ryan Williams. Like, Ryan Williams was awesome.
Yeah.
They're hoping Dallas Wilson, who is a similar level recruit, is as good as a freshman as Ryan Williams was. Whether he is or not is another question. But that's the whole point. Like, those guys are rare. They're special. And if you can get one of those, it's worth a lot.
Yeah.